By the authority given in the statutes of the Open University, I declare this congregation open for conferment of degrees and presentation of graduates. Distinguished guests, graduates, friends of the Open University, it's my privilege and pleasure to welcome you to the 14th of the Open University's degree ceremonies being held in 2016. We're delighted to welcome the worshipful Mayor of Gateshead, Councillor Alison Thompson, who's found time in her very busy diary to be with us this afternoon. It's also my great pleasure to welcome the Honorary Graduand, Dr. Etienne Wenger-Trainer. We're delighted to be able to honour him today. In 2015, the Open University awarded over 25,500 qualifications, ranging from Certificate of Education to Doctor of Philosophy. Through 2016, more than 8,000 graduates are being presented with their qualifications at degree ceremonies such as this one today in Gateshead. These are being held at 10 different towns and cities throughout England, and also in Belfast, Cardiff, Edinburgh, and Dublin. And this illustrates the extraordinary scale, scope, and reach of the Open University. It goes without saying that today is a very important occasion in the life of you, our graduates, your families and loved ones, as well as the university staff, who I hope that you feel have nurtured and supported you. You could be forgiven for thinking that the occasion is so important that it needs to be solemn. You'd be quite wrong. In every sense, this afternoon is one of celebration. so we'll be very disappointed. If anyone crosses this stage today to anything less than thunderous applause, whistling, whooping, or whatever way you choose to express your enthusiasm and support. With that in mind, can I ask all the graduates to stand, please? There's one more way you can show your appreciation to the graduate if you post messages or photos on social media with the hashtag #OU_ceremonies. So your congratulations can be seen not only by the people here in the ceremony, but the world outside. So today's ceremony will begin with a presentation of those graduates who have gained higher degrees, first degrees in the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Engineering and Bachelor of Laws, and have been able to attend here today. They'll be presented by Mrs. Mary Kirby, Director of Assessment, Credit and Qualifications. We'll then see the awarding of honorary degree of Doctor of the University to Dr. Vengatraina. Professor Mark Fenton O'Creevy, the Associate Dean in the Open University Business School, present Dr. Vengatraina, who will sign the honorary graduate's book and he'll make a reply. Then we'll continue our presentation of graduates with those who've gained the Bachelor of Science degrees, foundation degrees and diplomas of higher education, and they've been able to attend today. To conclude the ceremony, I will give a personal address to the graduates. It won't be long, but it'll be a little bit more than you've all done very well.
Executive Dean, I shall now present graduates who have gained higher degrees and have been able to attend today. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, I present to you for a thesis entitled Improving the Spatial Resolution of the Contour Method, Nida Navid. I present to you for the degree of the Master of Arts in Art History, Nancy Blake. Fiona Parsons. For the degree of Master of Arts in Childhood and Youth, I present Emma McCormack. Susan Shippen. For the degree of Master of Arts in English, I present Virginia Ferguson. For the degree of an MA in English, I present Fiona Grant. For the degree of Master of Arts in Music, I present Stephanie Naisbitt. For the degree of Master of Arts in Online and Distance Education, I present Gemma Holtom. John Kersey. For the degree of Master of Business Administration, I present Roger Dunlop. Neil Locker. Madeline MacDonald. Diane Menim. Mathan Rajendran. Joseph Riddle. For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Technology Management, I present Richard Grime. Stephen Hill. Abigail Hope. Deborah Nichol. Samantha Taylor. Kofi Bentle. For the degree of Master of Science in Advancing Healthcare Practice with Distinction, I present Phil Wilson. For the degree of Master of Science in Advancing Healthcare Practice, I present Heather Woods. For the degree of Master of Science in Earth Science, I present David Thornton. For the degree of Master of Science in Engineering, I present Ian Ogle. For the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Management, I present Douglas Chiwacha. For the degree of Master of Science in Mathematics, I present Timothy Rogers. Paul Thomas. And for the degree of Master of Science in Science, I present Peter Wilson. Executive Dean, I shall now present graduates who have gained Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Engineering and Bachelor of Laws degrees and have been able to attend here today. The full subject details are printed in the insert with the ceremony brochure. I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with First Class Honours, Maya Allen Williams. Edwin Bainbridge. Sheila Bowler. Peter Bromley. Rebecca Brown. Anne Cuthbert. Lauren Dacus. Tony Ferguson. Gillian Jones. Jack Kirkley. Luca Coleman. Louise Lambert. Rosie Legg. Erin McBride. Jennifer Mordew. Alison Morrill. Jan Park. Robert Poughton. Sarah Elizabeth Richardson. Leslie Rouse. Rebecca Scott. Abigail Vasey. Caroline Warrington. Stephen Watson. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours, I present Lisa Aberdeen. Zoe Adams. Michael Agbo Davidson. Wakaz Ahmed. David Allen. Anne Allday. Kim Allen Day. Marina Anthony. Anne-Marie Armstrong. Daniel Ashton. Joanna Ashwell. Robert Eyre. Florence Beresford. Jacqueline Beige. Samantha Barker. Lynn Beattie. Naomi Bedworth. Carolyn Bellis. Erica Brain. Ivan Brazier. Michelle Bridges. Bethany Burgess. Emily Byrne. Deborah Camsell. Terry Chilcott. Sarah Clark. Fiona Collinson. Zoe Cornforth. Amy Critchley. Robbie Cross. Emma Davidson. Paul Dearden. Amy Donaldson. Sean DuRose. Kirsty Farrier. Sarah Fisher. Lindsay Gant. Miriam Gerlach. Barbara Gibbas. Florian Gleisner. Tammy Glenn. Danny Gooch. Anne Goucher Patrick. Wendy Granger. Susan Hartridge. Jill Heslop. Emma Hill. Les Hodson. Rebecca Holmes. Khalid Idris. Abigail Jackson. Beth Johnson. Sonia Johnson. Julia Jones. Sherelle Kelly. Susie Kelly. Diane Kerwood. Gary Laws. Geraldine Lofthouse. Lisa Maskery. Stephen Mason. Catherine McCarthy. Mark McGuirk. Lisa Metcalf. Miles Middleton. Richard Moon. Vanessa Nair. Tasnim Nazir. Andrew Newman. Steve Nichol. Katie Orr. Lee Palmer. Carl Peake. Karen Pearson. Nicola Pearson. Lynn Pickles. Janine Pigg. Craig Potts. Damien Power. Stephanie Rain. Dominic Ramsey. Thomas Redhead. Peter Reeves. Andrew Riley. Angela Riley. Amy Rose. Rebecca Sanderson. Charles Schofield. Kim Sharma. Leslie Short. Elizabeth Shreve. Danielle Simpson. Naomi Skelton. Helen Smith. Tracy Smith. Emily Snowball. Amy Spencer. Melissa Taylor. John Telford. Rona Tyndale Nixon. Laurie Turnbull. Sarah Tyson. Richard Want. Jennifer Wardle. Matthew Whitmore. Caroline Williamson. Benjamin Woodward. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts, I present Sarah Birchall. Jane O'Rourke. Hugh Pannell. Melanie Winter. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with First Class Honours, I present Sean Charlton. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with Honours, I present Craig Coppin. Oh, well done. Jay Mamari. Daniel Pace. Emma Reid. For the degree of Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours, I present Alex Cross. Graham Richardson. And for the degree of Bachelor of Laws with Honours, I present Hayley Blundell. Lee Britton. Christopher Burns. Michelle Ham. Marie Harris. Karen Hutchins. Patrick Malek. Jacqueline Walker.
So I have two very important functions now. I have to introduce Dr. Etienne Venga-Traynor, but the other really important function I have to perform at the moment is to give you a chance to rest your hands, because you're going to need to do a lot more clapping yet. So, Executive Dean, colleagues, graduates, guests, Dr. Etienne Venga-Traynor is one of the world's most imaginative, influential, and highly cited theorists of social learning. His work on the concept of communities of practice has transformed the way in which we understand both learning and organising. His ideas have a profound relevance for our own mission as a university and have shaped and strengthened the ways in which we approach teaching and learning at the Open University. Originally from Switzerland, Etienne began his career as a French teacher and then a systems analyst. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science from the University of Geneva before moving to the United States. And he pursued advanced degrees in computer science from the University of California at Irvine. His work in the 1980s on the use of artificial intelligence in education helped develop the new field of intelligent tutoring. He then joined the interdisciplinary team working at the Institute for Research on Learning in California, which is a think tank committed to studying learning in all its forms. Here he worked with Jean Lave on the idea of communities of practice, exploring the ways in which people learn through participation in social practices. He's developed new ways of understanding learning as a social process, woven through the fabric of our everyday lives and our identities as participants in the communities to which we belong. This work has been built on by scholars and other practitioners around the world. Two of his books feature among the 25 most highly cited social science books of all time. In his later career, Etienne has continued to develop social learning theory and practices in organisations ranging from major banks and technology firms to government agencies and non-governmental organisations. This work has in recent years been shared with Beverly, his wife, who's here today. Together, they've developed highly innovative processes for convening large-scale learning and change. In the public sector, these ideas have been applied to settings from the civil service to healthcare to international development. In the private sector, they've transformed how businesses approach learning, training, and knowledge management. And in education, they've informed extensive research on the social nature of learning, with findings that are improving the experience for students in schools, colleges, and universities around the world. For the past 2 decades, Etienne has worked as a consultant, assisting organisations who want to use communities of practice to share, retain and advance knowledge. He's also worked closely with universities around the world. We at the Open University have been fortunate to benefit from Etienne's insights directly. For 5 years, he supported our Centre for Practice-Based Professional Learning, and his work continues to inform our philosophy and practice, especially in our programmes which emphasise practice-based learning, such as health and social care, education, and business and technology. It is therefore a particular pleasure to recognise Etienne's exceptional contribution to the scholarly and academic community, but also to acknowledge the real and practical difference that his ideas have made to learners and change leaders around the world. Like us, he believes in learning that changes lives and changes the world. Executive Dean, by the authority of the Senate, I present to you, for the honorary degree of Doctor of the University, Etienne Wenger Trainer.
Professor Kelly, distinguished guests, graduates, friends of the university. It's a great honor to be here with you today and to accept this honorary degree, and thank you, Mark, for your good words on my work. I'm especially honored to receive this degree from the Open University, an institution that has a commitment to inviting everybody into higher education, and in many cases, to do it in connection with actual practice. And this is something that I really respect. It's also a surprise, you know, because I was born in a small Swiss town called Newcastle. Actually, it's a French-speaking town, so we pronounce it Neuchâtel, but it's the same thing. And in many ways, that little boy is still inside me, you know, surprised about where life took me. And as Mark mentioned, I'm mostly known for my work as a social learning theorist. And I remember a few years ago, I was giving a talk somewhere, and the organizers of the talk had thought to have 2 high school students introduce me. And so they were calling me in preparation for their introduction, and they were asking me, so how do you become a famous social learning theorist? And I said, you know, you don't. It's not something you plan when you are born in a little town called Newcastle, you know? But you sort of chug along one step at a time. And so I thought, you know, you must be wondering, what's this guy doing here on the podium, you know, to get an honorary degree without doing anything, when I've worked for 4 years, you know, to get my degree. And well, at least you don't have to give a talk. But apart from that, I thought I'd tell you a little bit, sort of like retrospectively, how I interpret it. I think for one thing, I was pursuing something that I felt was important. And it was to understand how human beings learn. But not just how much stuff you put in your head, but to really understand how is learning a transformation of the person. This is what I was trying to understand. And then the second thing, I think, is that I happened to do something that was just right for the time. This is what Mark mentioned, developing this concept of a community of practice and building a learning theory around it. And a community of practice is something that you all know. It's a very simple concept. It's the idea of a group that together develop a certain competence and negotiate what that competence is. It could be a group of engineers in an organization building better cars together. It could be a bunch of scholars doing research together. It could be members of a street gang, understanding how you survive on the street. So it's a concept that has a lot of applications everywhere. And if you think of the human world from that perspective, then you can think of the human world as being composed of a whole landscape of different communities doing different things and developing different competencies everywhere. And it is interesting how this perspective on learning has had a career that, to me, is a bit of a surprise. But it is also true that it gives you a different sense of what learning really is. And I'll give you a small example. Yeah. You know the age of the universe, probably. 13.8 billion years old, approximately, more or less, right? It's a fact, it's part of the basic curriculum, But from our learning theory's perspective, it's more than a fact. Because, for instance, I live in the US, and in the southern US, there are communities that do not believe that the universe is 13.8 billion years old. They think it's about 6,000 years old, And I'm not trying to put anybody down here. I'm just saying there are different communities that have different beliefs about the age of the universe. And so, for me, how do I decide that I think the universe is 13.8 billion years old? See, I have to orient myself in the landscape. I have to try to understand, how does this community get to this number? How does that community get to that number? And I decide, through my understanding, that I'm going to trust better the result of the community of astronomers. But you have to understand it's not just a fact. It's an orientation that I have to a landscape of different practices doing different things. It's also an orientation that makes me doubt my own intuition. Because myself, I think 13.8 billion is actually not very much. If you think about it, it's 2 years for every human being on Earth. My intuition thinks that from the Big Bang to me standing here, it should be a lot longer. It should take a lot longer. But I have to trust that a community has developed instruments to look at the universe and decide it's 13.8. We'll see. Maybe it will change one day, but that community is at that point now. So you can see that a fact is much more complicated than a fact when you think that we live in a world, and orienting yourself towards that world, orienting yourself toward that landscape, constitute who you become. So learning is not just putting things in your head, Learning is developing a way of being in the world. And I hope that for you, your experience of the university has given you a way to orient yourself in the very complex landscape of practices that we see in the world today. Because really, the stuff that you can put in your head and that you can test with an exam, you just Google it, But that orientation, that sense of who you are, that sense of who you are becoming, of where you are going, of what you can do, by looking at yourself and looking at the world, that's something really precious. That's something really important, and really important in the world today. Because we have work to do, to avoid the misery that we see, to create a better world, to prevent a disaster. Nothing is guaranteed. We all have work to do to make sure that this human experiment is not a failure. So I invite you to orient yourself through your life to the landscape of the different practices that human beings have developed in order to figure out what you can do, how you can contribute to our human experiment. So, have a good and productive life. Thank you.
Executive Dean, continuing the presentation of graduates who have gained a first degree, I shall now present graduates who have gained Bachelor of Science degrees, foundation degrees and diplomas of higher education and have been able to attend today. The full subject details are printed in the insert in your ceremony programme. I present for the degree of Bachelor of Science with First Class Honours, Julia Branson. David Collinson. Jodie Dinkelman. Laura Dowd. Annalise Drake. Mark Foster. Sarah Foster. Karen Hardcastle-Rad. Victoria Harrison. Richard Hillier. Sharon Kenworthy. Sheridan Lloyd. Mark Parker. Gwen Perkins. Sarah Potter. Paul Reed. Gowan Robson. Annabelle Smith. Jen Truby. Paul Walker. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, I present Matthew Addy. Helen Bale. Maria Baltazar. David Barnes. Jackie Bairstow. Claire Beer Park. Michael Bond. Kerr Brady. Susan Brown. Maria Chaplin. Claire Cheetham. Lisa Clark. Gary Cleghorn. Sarah Close. Graham Coburn. James Cook. Paula Crammon. Lisa Douglas. Nicola Dunning. Sophie Ellis. Katrina Evans. Terence Farrell. Joe Finer. Kevin Gaines. Glenn Galloway. Nicola Gerwitz. Sarah Hall. Scarlett Hall. Gemma Harris. Thomas Hunter. Emma Irving. Helen Jones. Christy Jones. Edward King. Jennifer Lamb. Mandy Langan. Richard Lee. Megan Lidster. Jane Lauder. Karina McMillan. Anthony Mathewson. Julia McFarlane. Catherine McGee. Andrew McKean. Colin Moyer. Alison Morland. Michelle Mosley. Everson Mapofu. Stephanie Osborne. Sarah Parker. Michael Perry. Lynn Radlett. Charlotte Rapley. Charlotte Richards. Bethan Richardson. Lily Robinson. Kelly Rogers. Paul Shaw. Eddie Smith. Louise Snowden. Graham Stafford. Calvin Thompson. Joanne Todd. Joe Trotter. Tracy Wales. Kelly Walton. Alison Watson. Sarah Weaver. Kate Wilkinson. Stephen Woodhouse. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, I present Michael Andrews. John Bailey. Gillian Evans. Mark Harrison. Madeline McHale. Yaroslav Petrovsky. Teresa Stiffman. Jane Young. For a foundation degree, I present Donna Bright. Darren Maycock. Paul Mays. Rose Dias. Shakila Sadiq. Marie Chauvelin. Amy Zhu. Craig Stott. Michelle Wright. And for the Diploma of Higher Education, I present Imran Ayub. Angela Harvey. Karen Knightley. And Anna McKernan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Guests, members of Senate, staff, and of course, graduates. This is a very special day for everyone here, one to remember for the rest of your lives. We start by celebrating the determination and commitment that's brought you to this point. And of course, we're celebrating the fact that you've got your qualification. It's 43 years since our first graduation ceremony at the Open University in 1973. In that time, hundreds of thousands of people have earned degrees and diplomas with us. But only you, as individuals, know how much effort you put in. We're all very proud of you, our graduates, what you've accomplished on your journey with the Open University. And what a journey it's been. The Irish author, Sebastian Barry, was recently made an honorary doctor at the university, and he said he felt honoured to be a citizen of the great, benign country of imagination that is the Open University. Not everybody reacts that way. We presented John Cleese with an honorary degree last week. He bent down and kissed the feet of the presiding officer. And now you are too. Take a deep breath, let it sink in. You are now graduates of the Open University. It takes a very special kind of person to reach the point where you're sitting now. You're all unique, there's no doubt about that. You've one thing in common, and you should be immensely proud that you have official membership of a very exclusive group of people. But being an OU graduate means various things in life, and it signifies a lot about the journey you've been on. It's a mark of quality. It shows that you've learned from academics who are leaders in their field, who contribute to your courses, making the qualifications of a very high standard. And of course, employers really rate us as a university. Over 30,000 businesses and organisations in the UK have chosen to train their staff with the Open University. And a survey by the Department of Business, Energy and Industry Strategy found that employers perceive part-time students to be hard-working, committed and disciplined. And they recognise the importance of supporting their employees' study aspirations, with 69 of respondents to the survey asserting that part-time education is important to their businesses. So an OU qualification is something to be proud of, something well recognised, well respected. If you're hoping for a new job or a promotion following your qualification, you can remind your employer of that. It's also a sign of your personality. It shows commitment, dedication, and perseverance against the odds. It shows that you are capable of fulfilling your dreams, no matter what the obstacles that appear in the way. It shows courage to start something new and see it through and finish with success. Open University students are really like no others. I know many of you completed your studies while holding down demanding and challenging jobs and looking after your families. It's not easy to fit in assignments and tutorials around a busy lifestyle, especially when most of our students complete their courses in part-time over 6 years. And of course, we shouldn't forget your family and friends who are celebrating with you today here. They've been by your side the whole time you've been studying with us. We should thank them for supporting you, for standing by you when things were getting tough, being here to celebrate with you now. So graduates, can you locate your friends and your family and give them a round of applause? You're graduating at a time when the Open University is at the forefront of innovation. In 2013, we once again led the way with digital innovation when we set up the United Kingdom's first platform for massive open online courses, or MOOCs, through an initiative called FutureLearn. Since then, we've brought together over 80 UK and international universities, specialist education institutions, global centres of research excellence, to provide access to higher education for everyone and for free. Since then, we've attracted close to 3.5 million learners from over 220 countries and territories across the world, who registered on more than 7.5 million free courses between them. And since then, FutureLearn has been awarded the Grand Prize at the UX UK Awards, recognising its excellence in user-focused digital service and design. Many of you will be familiar with our partnership with the BBC, something we're incredibly proud of. Whenever you see the OU Shield at the end of a TV programme, you can be sure that something extra is available on the OpenLearn platform, our own free learning platform, designed to excite and interest you, inspire you to take on further learning. There'll be links to free apps, conversations with the OU academics, and free OU courses. 2 of the television programmes we produced with the BBC were nominated for BAFTAs last year. The landmark natural history series, The Hunt, which took an intimate and remarkable strategies that hunters employ to catch their prey, and the hunted employ to escape. And the great Ormond Street Hospital documentary, telling the story of an extraordinary new medical challenge and the children at their heart. And we're doing amazing work with those that need our help the most. The Open University is working with the British Council to deliver academic programmes to displaced Syrian refugees who have temporarily settled in Jordan and Lebanon. English, French and German language skills are taught in the classrooms by British Council to approximately 3,000 Syrians and disadvantaged Jordanian students, with around 300 of the highest achieving students progressing on to Open University online accredited degree courses. This year, the OU earned a global recognition as a leader of innovation and creativity at the highly competitive awards for Open Education Excellence. We came top in 4 categories, including Creative Innovation Award for our work bringing open online courses to teachers in India, equipping teachers with the skills to improve the progress and achievement of millions of children throughout their schooling. Now, research also plays a critical role in helping those most vulnerable in our society. Our groundbreaking research on Alzheimer's prevention, funded by the Alzheimer's UK, will explore how clearing away protein called amyloid from the brain could be an important way to prevent the onset of the disease. When we took part in the UK exercise to assess university research, it showed that nearly 3/4 of the Open University's research was rated 4 or 3 star, the highest ratings available, indicating that the standard of our research is world leading. And this research captures the public imagination too. We're incredibly proud of our part in the recent space exploration, including our involvement in the comet-chasing Rosetta mission. As we speak, another spacecraft called ExoMars is on its way to Mars, where we're equipped with a methane detecting instrument developed by OU scientists. When it reaches Mars, it will go into orbit for a year. Scientists have speculated that methane presence on Mars might be an indication of present or past microbial life. And over the next year, starting I think in November, when it reaches Mars, the ExoMars orbiter will do its best to track it down, mapping trace gases in the atmosphere of Mars over an entire Martian year. One of our own very own PhD students, Jack Wright, got an exciting opportunity to officially name a region on Mercury that he's studying. He named a ridge, the length, roughly the distance from Milton Keynes to Gateshead. He named it Unity after the ship that took Eben Halley, of Halley's Comet fame, to the South Atlantic island of St. Helena in 1676. Jack's geological map covers an area of about 5 million square kilometers, something like half the area of the USA. So as you can see, you're a member of a university that is a world leader in technology, in innovation, in helping people learn, in science, in engineering, and you will always be a member of this university. Today, you're joining a community of nearly 500,000 alumni of the Open University around the world. The OU has been by your side throughout your studies. Today, we give you our commitment to stay with you on your lifelong journey. We promise to share with you new opportunities to study. We promise to help you develop your professional career. And as we learn more in your chosen field of study, we promise to share with you the new research that we learn. Our motto, the crest up above me here, is learn and live. Something that the Open University graduates embody as soon as they step back into their busy lives. Continue to learn, continue to live, but more than that, continue to shine. You've got the skills, you've got the ability, you can change the world around you for the better. As a member of our alumni community, you're part of a vast network of people as extraordinary as you are. So you can make your voice heard. Join our alumni careers group on LinkedIn and share your professional experience or make new connections. Try one of the free online courses on OpenLearn or FutureLearn. And when the dust's settled, think about continuing your studies with another course with the OU. The members of our alumni team are waiting outside in the foyer, and I know they would love to talk to you about the Alumni Association and what it can offer, as what you can give back to your university. Because when you leave today, you become an ambassador for the Open University and all that it stands for. The university that stands for social justice, for equality in education, for knowledge to be open to all. You need to make your voices heard. Share your experience with others. Tell people how you got to know of your OU experience and why they should follow your path. You may well have seen our truly inspiring TV adverts that bring so vividly to life the trials and jubilation of being an OU student. We know for prospective students, a word of recommendation from an OU student or a graduate is better than any commercial. You're our best advert, and we want you to be proud to say, I studied with the OU. In a moment, the proceedings will end, and the ceremonial party will process out, while you get a chance to see all the messages and photos up on the screen that I hope you've been posting. Please do join me and our honorary graduate and all of the processing party outside in the auditorium so we can congratulate you in person. Now, can I ask one last time for our graduates to stand and everyone here join me in applause. sit down. Congratulations. The proceedings of this degree ceremony have now been completed, and I now declare this meeting of congregation closed. Would all of those who are able to stand please do so?